The Cleveland Browns head coach, Kevin Stefanski, tested positive for COVID. And so, with the Browns' upcoming playoff game, they're not going to have their head coach, Kevin Stefanski. He's at home right now preparing for the game. He's going to be involved in the game plan, but you're missing. So the Browns, the reason why they made the playoffs was because of their head coach, right? Kevin Stefanski completely changed that organization, finally gave them the coach they needed, got them over the hump. And so Kevin Stefanski got COVID. Some other coaches and other players got COVID as well. And now, because they don't have their head coach, who's, I think, probably the key focal point of their organization right now, they were likely going to lose anyway to Pittsburgh in the wild card round of the playoffs. Now they're, in my opinion, most definitely going to lose. It's disappointing. They're probably going to lose, but it's, I've already accepted it, so I've moved on from that. However, when they and if they lose on Sunday, I don't care. Because the Cleveland Browns made the NFL playoffs for the first time since 2002. Oh my goodness! Yes, yes. I'm not a Browns fan. I've never been a Cleveland Browns fan. Never been to Cleveland. I've been in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's the closest I can ever say I've been. But kind of if you've listened to the show I've done the show now for 3-4 years, however long I've done it, and I've always kind of referenced the Cleveland Browns, similar to the little engine that could. They're this team that is trying so hard to not be awful. And I was born in 1997. I'm 23 years old. Most of my life, the Browns have been a terrible, horrible organization. So to be able to say that the Cleveland Browns, who have been so bad for so long, they actually have my sympathy. That they went 11-5 and they made the playoffs this year. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's so cool to me. It's like, oh my gosh. What an amazing turn of events. And I love it. I don't really care. Win or lose in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. You got to go one step at a time. Step one was return the Cleveland Browns back to being a good team, get them into the NFL playoffs. They did that. Now they're going to miss their coach in the game. I think Kevin Stefanski is a huge part of their organization. I'm sad he's not coaching, but I don't care whether they win or lose. It wasn't about winning or losing in the playoffs. It was about getting there. Next year, hey, we can have higher expectations, make the playoffs, win a game or two, make a run. But this year, I'm just like, if you're in Cleveland, you're not upset that your team is going to lose in the playoffs. You're just happy, like, oh my gosh, it happened. We got to the playoffs for the first time in years, almost 2 decades. Is a decade 10 years? I'm stupid. I don't know. Almost 20 years it's been, and you made it back. It's pretty amazing. Now, I also want to get on this narrative very, very early. Once the Cleveland Browns lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're immediately going to hear a lot of people say, it's time to replace Baker Mayfield. I can already hear it, and I can already imagine they're going to say, wow, we got to replace Baker Mayfield. He's not the right quarterback. And he might even have a bad game on Sunday because, hey, guess what? Your coach, who is the reason you're doing well, isn't allowed to be there. Not calling plays. Is not involved. And that's a huge deal. Like, you're missing the key part of your organization. And if the Browns lose without their head coach and Baker does badly, again, I'm telling you, everybody's going to be on the train. Replace Baker Mayfield. He's terrible. And I would say, first of all, why? Baker's played very well. Baker's played, I thought early on he had some struggles. As he got more and more used to the system, he got better and better. And then there was a stretch of games where Baker played in some cold weather, and I thought managed the team very well. They won some games. And then Baker played very well at the end of the year. So first of all, I'd say, why would you replace Baker? He's playing very well. He's the number 1 overall pick, but he's on a cheap rookie contract, and he's doing good stuff. So if you want to replace Baker Mayfield, I think you're crazy. I think some people I think it's pretty clear some people in the media have a really obvious hatred and a bias that's a bit played up and silly and even, what's the word I'm looking for? Unfounded, or they're hating on the guy. They're rooting for the guy to fail simply because that's what they want to see happen now. If you're any kind of objective on Baker Mayfield, you go, he's doing pretty well. He's fine. Here's the other thing. Go ahead and try to replace Baker Mayfield. How are you going to do it? With what draft pick? And with what trade? Like, you going to trade for Matthew Stafford? Are you going to, you're not going to have a good draft pick in the first round. Who are you going to get to replace Baker Mayfield? You can't get better than Baker. So I say, not only is he doing well, you can't replace him anyway. What's your plan? You don't have one. You just are hating. So, and I almost never say the word hater. I think it's stupid. But there are some people in the media who clearly just don't like Baker Mayfield at this point and have a vendetta against him and can't admit they were wrong about the guy at all. And so, I don't know. Buckle down, prepare for that narrative. It's going to happen come Monday morning next week. You're going to hear, get rid of Baker Mayfield. He's terrible. He sucks. And I'm just going to say, I'm already over it. It's stupid. It's a conversation we don't need to have. Baker's your guy next year. You got the perfect head coach to build around him. And you can't blame Baker Mayfield for the faults of the past when he had Freddie Kitchens as his head coach, an awful, awful head coach who was never putting Cleveland in a position to succeed. And you can be mad at Baker for some immaturity early on. I think he's admitted his faults. I like Baker Mayfield a lot. I think that I'm fair to Baker. Like I know that Baker has had problems, and Baker owns his faults and he owns his mistakes. But also, at this point, he's really matured. He's grown up a lot. He's a different quarterback. He's a different person, and I think he's playing very well for Cleveland. So don't you dare start the narrative, let's replace Baker Mayfield. It's stupid. It's terrible. And if he plays poorly on Sunday, again, he doesn't have his head coach. The play caller, the guy who designed their offense, the guy who helped Baker succeed in the NFL isn't there. So I just have no problem. If Baker plays poorly, let's not lean into the narrative that he should be replaced immediately in Cleveland.